Hi, everybody. So I want to talk through this paper. Now, this is the research paper, and as I've said in my other remarks, students in the A, B, and B class are writing this particular paper. And I've had a number of questions about it, and so I thought it might be useful to just talk through this. On the previous slide, I talked about the elements that the paper is supposed to contain. This paper, this student chose to focus more on, as you can tell from the title here, Sidney Lanier, the symbol of the South, more, why Sidney Lanier is well known as a writer, what are the important elements of his writing. There is not an element here where this person is talking about how, so much as I recall, how he compares with others. But, I think that I think it's actually very good. Let's look at the formatting. Everybody can see that. So you have your name. I've got student Hardman because I don't want the student's full name there. You would have your full name, first and last name. My name, Dr. Blanchard. And then you put the title of the course. This was AB. If you're in the B class, you just put B. You put the date. And then look at the page numbers in the upper right-hand corner. Okay. We have, trying to see how I can scroll through this, guys. Ah, there we go. Okay. So let's look at this introduction. So you've got to start your paper off with an introduction. So let's read this. Southern literature stems from a background of rich cultural values, enticing symbolism, and a powerful connection between man and nature. However, who instilled the core values of this genre and gave Southern poets a chance at national recognition? While many Southern writers played an influential role in the establishment of Southern literature, author and poet Sidney Lanier stands out among them all. Lanier was a pioneer who expanded the popularity of all Southern-based artists. His work had the ability to connect all Americans regardless of their origin and to defeat the stigma surrounding Southern literature. Lanier was the most influential figure in the early establishment of Southern literature, remains one of the greatest poets from Georgia due to his life, work, and praise, meaning the praise he received for his work. Now, you guys are writing about different people. Like a few of you might be writing about poets, as in this case. Other people are writing about short story writers. A number of people have written about Martin Luther King's I Have a, not that I Have a Dream, but the letter from Birmingham jail. That is not a story, okay, clearly. That's a letter that he wrote. It's considered a work of nonfiction, but it's considered a really important document. So, this paper is really pretty flexible. As long as you're writing about, I'm going to say some text, a text, something written by a Southern individual, whether it's poetry, story, or a letter, whatever that might be. Okay, that's fine. And as I indicated, on page 4, you have a really good list in the right-hand sidebar of people that you could write about after you do some research. So basically, this paper follows a plan. That's why I think the outline assignment is so important. You really have to think through it. You have to do that outline, and you have to put your the quotations you want to use with correct MLA citations. Do that before you actually write the paper. The outline is really critical because it helps you think through, okay, what am I going to include in this paper? So here, this first paragraph, let's look at the topic sentence. Lanier's livelihood and life experience greatly influenced his literature. So we're going to talk about his early life, his childhood, how that impacted him, as a writer. So the effect of his personal life on his writing, essentially, which is one of the things you're supposed to talk about. So you basically are doing a little research into the person's life. It's biographical research. Okay, the next paragraph. In addition, Lanier developed key literary features in his work that came to be known as Southern. So, you're supposed to talk about what aspects of the person's writing classify it as being Southern, and you have that here. That's what this paragraph is. And I'm not going to read all of these paragraphs to you because I have these essays on the course homepage, okay? Just like if you're in the A class, I have a Huck Finn, a really good Huck Finn essay on the course homepage for you to look at as a sample, okay? So I'm not reading this because I have it posted. So you can go through and you can read it, and I highly recommend that, okay? Then we have a paragraph about why Lanier's work is so well known. Furthermore, Lanier's work was greatly commended, gained a new sense of admiration for Southern literature. So what is it that in particular, beyond being Southern, what is it about the literature that's important? And this person talks about that. Then we have our conclusion, the fact that, reiterating the fact that he was, in fact, an influential figure. This person says remains Georgia's finest poet. So it sort of, you're really, in a paper of this sort, the conclusion is reemphasizing the relevance, of this individual, the importance of this individual. Then we come to the works cited page, which is correct. It should be in alphabetical order. I do want to make a point that any work that you have on the works cited page should be in the paper, okay? You can't have, works in the paper and not have them on the works cited page. Likewise, anything that's on this works cited page needs to be in parenthetical documentation within the paper. Now remember, you do have to document paraphrases as well as direct quotes, and in that unit, the Southern Landscapes unit, pages 5 and 6 talk about MLA style, avoiding plagiarism, how to document things properly and correctly. So you may, I think that's really important that you go through that and that you're clear on those points. And again, I have this posted on the course homepage so that you can, check that out. So let's look at an example here. Okay, so here we have one. Look at this on page 4. I'm about in the middle of the page here. Copeland. Okay, it's after this quote, based on sound, and then you see in parentheses Copeland. Okay, so that is the author, because with parenthetical documentation, we put the author's last name and page number if we have one. Let's look here. This comes from the New Georgia Encyclopedia, which is an online, apparently, encyclopedia, does not have page numbers. Now, if there were a page number, you would include that. But, you definitely give the author's last name, and so that's what we have there. Let's see what else we have here. I'm just going to come back in here. Here we go. Here's one in this paragraph. I'm about 6 lines from the top. After this quote, at the end of the 19th century, we have Petrie II. Okay, so that's going to be the Petrie article. So let's look at that. Okay, and see this particular article went from pages 1 through 8, and the quote that's in the paper came from page 2 of that article, and so that's, why this person has Petrie II. So again, if you have a page number, you should use it. If you don't worry about it, but give the last name of the person who wrote the article that you are citing. Okay? All right. So I hope this helps everybody.